Hey kids, we're a couple of annoyed grunt boys, and this is the 138th Simpsons podcast.
I love to work at nothing all day, and I've been taking care of business every day.
That's right, we're the podcast that explores the American animated sitcom The Simpsons from seasons 11 and beyond, and the newest episodes when they're available. Why do we do it like this? Well, an entity known as the Wheel of Random has trapped us and forced us to watch the show in such a manner. Also, there are plenty of other podcasts that watch the golden age of The Simpsons, that being seasons 1 through 10. I say we because I am one annoyed grunt boy named Steve, and with me, as always, is the other annoyed grunt boy,
Craig.
Hello, Craig. How is it going this week?
I think you know the answer to that, and so do our listeners.
Going awful.
Sure, we'll go with that one.
Yeah.
No, time goes on.
Time keeps on slipping into the future.
Steve, this intro has, it will have no timely references to the year we are in. So it'll sound like we could have recorded this in 2013 or 2029. How about that?
I like it. Just like I enjoy Oreo cookies and the music of Bruce Springsteen. Because they're timeless.
Yeah. I love Kraft macaroni and cheese and the baseball team, the Honolulu Hams.
Yes. You know, two timeless things that I love is a sold-out newsstand and a broken watch.
Because they're right twice a day?
Yes. No, because somebody bought all the Time magazines, so they're timeless.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Hey, that's kind of like, there's a dad joke, Steve. There's a dad joke in this episode. I mean, from what I heard.
Yeah, that's what I heard too. That's what all the kids are talking about.
Dad jokes.
There's a dad joke in season 31, episode 5.
Is it about a catamaran, Steve?
I think so. This is what I hear on the playgrounds. Not that I'm at playgrounds often, but when I am. Well, should we just go back in time?
All the way back to the future?
Yes. If the past was before November 3rd, 2019, so the future would be November 3rd, 2019. Craig, what was the number one movie in the box office?
Well, Steve, it was Terminator Dark Fate.
The Tim Miller classic.
It's hard to say, was that one of the bad ones when it's like Terminator 1 and 2 are the only good ones?
Yeah, it's hard to say because it has Linda Hamilton, Eddie Furlong, and Arnold Schwarzenegger, but I don't know. It's the sixth movie.
Yeah, it wasn't good. All right.
Yeah.
I'm sure there'll be another Terminator movie here in a couple years.
Oh, yeah. No doubt about it. We don't need it, but there will be one.
Well, Steve, the Terminator movies were some movies that I've loved, as if they were a person.
So you can almost say there was someone you loved.
Yes. And you know who I always loved, Steve?
Who's that?
The 12th Doctor Who, played by Peter Capaldi. He was one of my favorite doctors. Yeah. And if I loved Peter Capaldi's Doctor Who would you say you loved on who's your favorite character on Drew Carey?
Oh, of course, that would be Lewis.
Or a character that could never lose.
Yes. Parker Lewis Capaldi.
Yes. Oh, does that mean that the number one song was Someone Like You by Lewis Capaldi?
Or someone you loved.
Someone you loved. Yeah, Someone Like You was Adele. But I think Lewis Capaldi is related to the actor Peter Capaldi. I think he's like his uncle, maybe?
That makes sense. But, I think they're both of them, a little overrated.
Oh, you just don't get the whole hoopla around them?
Yeah, I don't get the hype.
Well, Steve, maybe if you were the drinking age of most pilots, airline flyers, you'd get it.
Yeah, this is like a flight situation because I'm drunk, like those 21 pilots. Because the number one hot rock and alternative song was The Hype by 21 Pilots.
We've been friends for a while.
That's true.
You'll die soon.
That's also true.
And I think it'll probably be not enough time to tell you how I really feel about you.
Aw.
No, never mind. I'm just going to grift you out of something.
And then you'll probably burn me up.
Yeah, with some hot, what's that condensed wood called?
Charcoal. Or maybe just drop the char. It's easier.
Yeah, okay. I will swindle you, coal.
I will also say that I love you too late, which brings us to the number one country song, Love You Too Late, by Cole Swindle.
Now we talked about country names a lot on this podcast, and that is a great country name.
It really is. Cole Swindle.
You know, that name could not make me even more elated or joyful or...
Well, I know that Pharrell was kind of happy, but this feels like more than that.
happiest?
Maybe not that happy.
You know what really makes me happy, Steve?
Hmm.
Is that one holiday that the French people celebrate, I think, in July with s'mores?
Oh, yeah, because it's summertime and you're celebrating that national French holiday on July 14th, and you're eating some s'mores because, of course, it makes you happier. Which brings us to the number one song on the Hot Dance and Electric chart, Happier by Marshmello and Bastille.
All right. Do you think this is the only self-serving bit we do on the podcast? Like, you and I love doing it. Like, I imagine if other podcasts did a bit like this, they would take time and write jokes out. But
yeah.
this is our improv. We don't... I just look at this list, like, as is when we record it.
Yeah, and I normally, like, look it up the day after we record, and I don't think about it at all until this very moment. So it's the same thing for me. And I do think that it might not be fun for anybody else, but I enjoy it.
This is our warm-up, you know, like Zep Zep Zop or whatever for improv. So this is us trying to get into the mood to do some chuckles for the episode.
That's our way of preparing you for the episode that we're talking about today, which is Gorillas on the Mast, in which, after a trip to Aquatraz Water Park, Lisa becomes determined to set free Springfield's most vicious animals in captivity, and Homer fulfills a lifelong dream of buying a boat, and quickly realizes that boat ownership sucks. Alrighty, let's give that a watch, and we'll be right back. Back. Today we're talking about Gorillas in the Mast, the 5th episode of the 35th season. It is episode 667 in the show's run. It originally aired on November 3rd, 2019. Your nerd code is YABF20. It was written by Max Cohn, directed by Matthew Nastuk, and your showrunner is Al Jean.
All right. Matthew Nastuk directed this episode, but we don't talk about the director, Steve, because we care more about the writers.
That's
right.
And
that was Max Cohn. Max Cohn, seen here on the Simpsons wiki with wearing a skull cap, a beanie, and some Oakleys. So I'm assuming he's your average white male Twitter user that is anti-liberal things.
Mm-hmm.
Also sitting in a car.
Why do they always sit in cars? I don't get it.
Trucks, Steve. They sit in trucks.
Ah, yes.
So I'm assuming Max Cohn, with a name like Cohn, definitely white Christian man.
Of course.
Look, Steve, he is a one-time writer.
One time.
And it was this episode, right?
I believe so, yes.
Because we're talking about it. But here's some fun. I remember when they announced this, and it was one of those, like, I kind of want to watch this, but, you know, I didn't. It was a Lifetime movie presented by KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken, called A Recipe for Seduction, starring Mario Lopez as Colonel Sanders. This was back when, like, Lifetime was like, you know what? They did a Lifetime movie with Kristen Wiig and Will Ferrell, but it was played straight. Like, it wasn't a comedy.
Right.
It was played like a Lifetime movie. And they're like, okay, you know, people like watching this. And so then they did this, and it was something that it looks funny again on paper, but like maybe it wasn't that good. I don't know. Never saw it. Did you ever watch it? A Recipe for Destruction or Seduction?
The second one sounds better. I didn't, but it's only 15 minutes, so like we could do it on like a very special episode or for the Patreon.
Yeah, we always said for the Patreon, as long as like a Simpsons person's connected. But yeah, a 15-minute, they just aired it, which is a weird time frame. Like, you're looking at your TV guide, right? It says from 12 to 12:15. That's not how it works. It's always in 30-minute increments. And what's a TV guide?
Exactly, and why is this a commercial? This is also during the time when, like, everybody was playing Colonel Sanders.
Ah.
So we had, aside from, of course, the lovely Mario Lopez, we had Daryl Hammond, Jim Gaffigan, George Hamilton, Ray Liotta, Sean Astin, Billy Zane, Rob Riggle, Rob Lowe, Reba McEntire, Norm Macdonald, Jason Alexander,
Arby.
just to name a few.
Wow. They don't do it anymore, do they?
No, I think they're trying to like refocus just what KFC is, and they're a company that makes crappy bowls for crappy food.
They make instant diarrhea for humans.
Exactly, and as somebody who loves fried chicken, might be one of my favorite foods, it's just disheartening to see that company be so crappy. But, you know, it's one of the young corporations, and we're not a fast food podcast, so I guess I can move on.
No. Look, we were, in our area, like, we didn't get Popeyes until maybe, like, 20 years ago, which seems like a long time, but growing up as kids, we didn't have Popeyes. So, like, we had KFC and like, store deli fried chicken, you know, which I always liked. Like your Safeway. I always thought the Safeway's deli, and I might still think it is awesome.
Yeah.
I like a Safeway donut. I like a Safeway fried chicken. I like a Safeway Chinese food, which I'm air quoting Chinese food because it's like the Americanized. Like sometimes, I'm sorry, it's better than a Panda Express.
I'll say this. I hate Safeway as a grocery store.
Yeah, same here.
They're the worst, but you're right. Their bakery, their deli, pretty solid consistently. And you get a loaf of bread from them, it's going to be good. Their donuts, really good. I've gotten a birthday cake from them. Not bad. Like, you can, like, order them. Like, not just get them from the shelves, but, like, you can order one, and they'll personalize it. It's good.
Yeah, and look, we also get Maggie's pacifiers for $1.29 down at the Safeway.
Nice, yes. That's a good pull.
Also, Max Cohn, he did sounds fun, a short film called Proof of Concept starring, I want to say, Hollywood's hunkiest favorite man.
Oh, yeah.
Richard Kind.
That's right.
I feel like Richard Kind, if you got him in your project, you're going to do well.
Yeah, he's hilarious.
And from all accounts, he lives up to his last name.
Yes, that's what I've heard.
At least he isn't his first name, Dick.
Used to be roommates with George Clooney.
Who do you think was bringing in more ladies every night, George or Richard?
Oh, it's got to be Richard.
Yeah, duh.
Yeah, come on.
He literally will do any project.
Yeah, he doesn't really say no, but he always brings the quality. Like, I've never seen him do a bad thing, so.
Right. Also, Max Cohn wrote for The New Yorker and McSweeney's. Steve, did you ever write for The New Yorker or McSweeney's?
I think I may have submitted to McSweeney's at some point, but I never got published. But I did read it a lot.
Yeah. Is McSweeney McDonald's wife?
Yes. And she has big boobs.
She also dressed like a clown?
Yes.
All right. Well, enough talk about KFC and boobs and Richard Kind and mostly Max Cohn. So this is his only episode, Steve, that he's ever written. So let's judge him harshly, all right?
Alrighty, well, we'll begin with a couch gag, and it shows a large dartboard on the sofa, and the family members are thrown at it as if they were darts. So Marge hits a 7, Bart the 13, Maggie 12, and Lisa 10, and then Homer shouts, "Make way!" and he's thrown, but misses the board entirely, hitting his head on the wall, leaving a crack.
Isn't it kind of weird they all landed on the age they all lost their virginity?
7? Wow, yeah. So, Marge lost her virginity at age 7.
It was the 50s, Steve.
Okay. Maggie's gonna lose it at age 12.
Ugh.
Lisa's got 2 years of virginity left. And Bart has 3 more years of being innocent.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
Huh.
And Homer's still a virgin.
Yep. Cartoons can't have sex, Steve.
That's true. I've tried.
So, Steve, our episode begins, as it always does, at the Aquatraz Water Park, which is the subject of 5 award-winning documentaries. So, Marge tells the kids to get ready for fun with sunblock. She then attempts to put some SPF 1000 on Maggie, who is resistant. But when Marge warns that she'll end up looking like Grandpa without the sunblock, Maggie slathers it all over face, neck, and chest, and then sucks the tube off dry.
That's right. The baby does that.
It's a cartoon, Steve.
Yeah, of course. Of course they're talking about, what is it, Blackfish, that documentary?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
The SeaWorld stuff.
Right, I never saw it, but I got the gist of it. SeaWorld bad.
Yeah, Steve, I see world all the time. I just look out the window. I see world.
And it's bad.
Yeah. I always like that picture I see every once in a while. People like, here's the parking lot to SeaWorld, and it's like 500 football fields, and like, here's SeaWorld itself, and it's like the size of a a penny.
Yeah, yeah.
It's really small, yeah.
And there's huge mammals in there, and it's just, yeah, it's sad.
I remember when I was like, God, this might have been like 15 years ago. I went down to like San Diego just on a personal vacation, and I was like, what should I do today? And like, suggestions like go to SeaWorld, and I'm like, it seems too depressing to go there. And this was 15 years ago when we weren't really talking about it yet. I'm like, it just looks sad. I'd rather go to the San Diego Zoo where I could watch above ocean animals in captivity.
Yeah, that's far less depressing.
It's the San Diego Zoo, Steve. It's fine. There's the San Diego chicken and a couple of priests or padres.
Oh,
and did I just go to a baseball game?
You might have. Yeah, I think you did. Those priests should be locked up. So. So as the family walks through several overcrowded fish tanks as well as a whack-a-walrus game, Lisa states that she can't enjoy herself seeing animals mistreated in such a manner. She goes on to say how horrible it must be spending every day behind a pane of glass. And then when they reach the ticket booth, the man selling tickets behind a pane of glass agrees that it ain't great.
Homer argues that if the sea life is so unhappy, why are they wagging their tails? But as Lisa explains, that's just how they swim. Shauna then announces that penguin funerals will occur at 12, 2, and 4. Just then, a procession of jazz funerals stroll by, playing tailgate ramble with the penguin-sized casket is held by 4 pallbearers wearing their most respectful shorts. And several mourning penguins in top hats. Some carrying instruments also join the parade. It's very sad, but it is so cute.
It is. It's really funny. I like the one penguin that dabs its brow because it's hot, because it's like New Orleans, and that's pretty humid there.
That's very funny.
Good stuff. So the Simpsons sit to watch a show featuring an orca, or killer whale. The presenter explains that the orca, or killer whale, is an apex predator, meaning there's nothing that can eat it. This leads Homer to imagine himself as an apex predator, diving deep and taking bites of fish without a care in the world. He laughs at his underwater dominance until he is caught is hoisted onto a Japanese ship for Emperor's Choice sushi. He is then turned into a Homer-shaped sushi roll, which is then eaten by Homer, and as Homer imagines using chopsticks to feed himself to himself, he says, "This just got a little weird."
Do they do thought bubbles in every episode? I was thinking, like, there sure is a lot of thought bubbles.
I really feel like, especially in, like, very modern episodes, like in the past 5-10 years, the thought bubble is very prevalent. Like, I feel like we've noticed it a lot more lately.
Yeah, it's almost like we should have a shot of whiskey or whatever hard alcohol you want just by our table. So every time a thought bubble appears on the episode, we take a shot.
Yeah, because maybe we'll take another shot by the end of this episode.
Steve doesn't drink alcohol anymore, so you probably shouldn't do that, Steve.
Yeah, you're probably right.
You could do a bump of cocaine instead.
Much better.
Homer's right. That thought bubble was very weird.
Yeah.
So the Aquatraz employee announces that it's lunchtime for their biggest star, meaning he'll need a small child to volunteer. I think when he said that, dude, it's like, wait, are they feeding the child to... I think that was kind of when they, we didn't play a clip from that, but like it's what it sounded like, and I'm assuming that was the intention. Because I mean, you see it in Maggie, right? Because she's holding onto Marge tightly, but on the next Bleachers Over, Brandine Spunkler's there pushing one of her kids, hors d'oeuvres, to take the stage. And I wish I would name my child hors d'oeuvre.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds French.
Fancy.
So the young Spunkler girl is given a fish puppet to wear over her hand, and as she nervously reaches towards the water, the orca emerges and bites the arm off the aquatic park worker. Stunned, the crowd gasps, but the Aquatraz host tells them not to worry, as he lost his arm years ago. I think the joke should have been, oh wait, it wasn't that one, and he lost his arm this time too.
That would have been funny. That's a good joke. Yeah, right. I like that.
All right, -1 for Mark Cohen there. Ooh. All right.
So the audience laughs, but Lisa isn't quite so joyous. She requests that the family go home, as this fun place is about to make her cry. Marge suggests that Homer take Maggie on a walk so Marge and the other kids can check out a nearby mermaid. And Bart sees the mermaid and says that the tail looks so fake until the mannequin top falls off, revealing a fish flopping on the rocks until splashing into the water.
So Homer and Maggie stroll up to the boardwalk, passing several people in various sea crafts. In one yacht, Burns asks Smithers if they can splash some folk and join a nice meal at an upscale restaurant, and Waylon is happy to swerve the boat, soaking several diners. leading to the kind of Sunday fun that Monty loves.
So seeing this, Homer recalls always wanting a boat, but could never afford one. He thinks back to 30 years earlier, where he's fishing with his father, singing a parody of Sitting on the Dock of the Bay, but making the lyrics about how he's missing school and getting dumb. So as Homer goes into the whistling solo, Abe tells him to quiet down, as men have good times in silence.
After a few moments of that beloved silence, Homer asks his daddy if they'll ever get a boat. And Abe scoffs, stating that they couldn't even afford worms, and then reels in his line to show an IOU note to this prospective fish. I don't know if fish can read English, Steve, can they?
English fish can.
What about Portuguese fish?
But I think they can read Portuguese. And probably a little bit of Spanish, too.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Young Homer begins to tear up, causing Abe to offer him some Scottish feel-good juice. As Abe encourages his son to drink more of the scotch, he thinks to himself that by the standards of the day, he's a great father.
Yeah. And, by the standards of today, you're probably a good dad, too.
Yeah, I give my daughter Russian feel-good juice.
Nice. Pretty soon to be American feel-good juice. In the present day, Homer looks longingly at some boats with fun names such as the Motor Gloatin', the Not Workin', and the Good Ship Loaded Pop. Just then, he's greeted by a stranger in a suit.
Nice boat, huh? I sell boats. Wish you could have one.
Yeah, but I'll never own a boat. It's just a dream, like doing a sit-up.
Don't be so sure. I don't know what you do for a living, but me, I'm in the dream business.
I thought you sold boats. Make up your mind, liar.
Now, I could get in big trouble for doing this, but if you buy this boat now for the listed price, I'll throw in this genuine captain's hat. Don't tell my manager.
What do you think I am, an idiot? This hat isn't even adjustable.
It's one size fits all.
Deal! What? No, wait. My wife will kill me.
You think your wife's gonna kill you when she's sipping margaritas as the sun sets, her hair blowing softly in the ocean breeze?
Her hair doesn't blow. It kind of clings.
Look, ask any financial planner and they'll tell you that getting a boat is a better investment than getting a divorce or opening a bookstore.
One more thing and I'm convinced.
I'll give you this little pin from a defunct yacht club.
Sold. Hey, what's this little hook thing on it?
That's an anchor. You're gonna be a fine yachtsman.
He's probably right. Like, buying a boat is probably financially better than owning a bookstore or getting a divorce.
Yeah, I mean, especially in this day and age, like, yeah, with reading and physical copies of books at an all-time low and divorces, at a pretty good high.
I feel this is like a trope on TV shows and movies, is the salesman who's always like, I could get in a lot of trouble for doing this or selling it at this price.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever been approached by a salesman who's used that tactic?
I feel like back in the 90s, I was in the market of buying a 3-disc CD player, like a stereo, that held 3 CDs. It also had a cassette and radio, AM and FM. And I think I was trying to get it, and I was like, 16 or 17, but I had saved up my money. And I think that the person at the Circuit City, that's how you know it's an old story, was trying to sell me the floor model at like 20% off, and he's like, I can get in trouble, but I'll do it for you just this once. And I think I bought it, and it was fine. It had like a little scratch on it, but yeah, it worked.
And where is that CD player now, Steve?
Probably in a landfill somewhere. Have you ever had that that experience where like they're doing you a favor?
Yeah, I don't think I have, but I recently got a new car, and so I was geared because of watching TV for that to happen. It was just kind of funny, like when I did the test drive. Like, of course, the car is like more than I wanted to pay, and so I like when the guy that I was working with was just like, okay, what number are you looking at? And he's like, right, like it did the whole write it down thing,
Mm-hmm.
and I grossly wrote a very low number. Like, of course, I'm not going to sell at that price. He's like, all right, well, let me get my manager, and then the manager I just dealt with the whole time. He's like, yeah, this kind of like not a price we were willing to go with. I'm like, okay, then what's the best you could do? Like, I don't want to explain everything, but like I ended up getting, a couple dollars off.
That's
well,
good.
not a couple,
Yeah.
but I got it for like what I wanted, what I was willing to pay.
That's decent. Yeah, I just really hate
Yeah.
that whole song and dance of like I just wish it was like more simple and like, here's what you can pay, and that's
Yeah.
it. Like, I don't want to like have to like trick people or be like negotiate. Well, I will pay no more than this unless you offer offer me this much. It's a whole
Right.
thing that I'm not
Yeah.
into.
Yeah. So we didn't really dick each other around. And like, the salesmen aren't really like that sleazy salesman. It didn't feel like that,
Right.
So, but before we go on, Steve, let me tell you about this bridge I can sell you downtown.
Ooh.
It's in New York, prime real estate. Okay. Here's some fun, like, continuity trivia. This is season 31, episode 5. But in the first episode of season 31, which was called The Winter of Our Monetized Content, Homer stated that he'll be purchasing a boat on the 3rd of November, which he did in this episode. And that was our 36th episode, so a long time ago. But I remember having the conversation of, did they actually get a boat?
Mm-hmm.
And then I think you looked it up. I'm like, yeah, they actually did. So I'm like, hey, I like that kind of continuity of like, stay tuned, folks, for in a few weeks I will be buying a boat. So it's kind of fun Easter egg, I guess. Or not Easter egg, but canon.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Well, back in the aquarium, Lisa watches as an orca behind the glass waves at her. She is shocked and saddened to see that the whale's dorsal fin has collapsed. And Lisa calls out to the people around her, informing them that the poor orca doesn't have enough space to swim. So Homer walks in, commenting that the whale is huge. And then the whale, seeing Homer, remarks in whale speak that Homer is also huge.
So incensed, Lisa shouts that the park is cruel and inhumane.
Yeah, Steve, Lisa was right. The park is cool and insane. It's not a Simpsons joke.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
She calls for the tank to be emptied and the plug to be pulled. And as she makes her passionate plea saying that she can't be silenced, 2 security guards grab her, and one of the guards hands her an adorable baby seal stuffed animal, which does in fact silence her. So after getting kicked out of yet another amusement park, the Simpsons head home, and the worker in the ticket booth begs to join them, but Homer says that they don't have enough seatbelts.
In a nearby bar, the man who sold Homer the boat exits, asking in song what one does with a drunken salesman, and then answers himself saying that he goes home to his wife. So, after some passionate fucking, the salesman and his wife reflect on their days, and later, in this clip, Lisa asks Bart for some help?
Finally moved that old cabin cruiser.
No one spots a sucker like you. Let me guess. Overweight guy? Midlife crisis?
The kind of fat where you don't even know how old they are. How was your day?
Beautiful. Sold a jacuzzi to someone who came in to use the phone.
Did you gouge him on the dipping attachment?
Wholesale plus $3,000.
Whoo, you get over here.
Make me an offer.
Smooth.
Bart, I need your help.
Go away.
With a prank.
Oh, what do you need? Hot sauce? Cow heart? Fire ants? Oh, they're gone. How could fire ants get out of a paper bag?
Thank you, Lord, for these fire ants entering my nose, biting my brain, testing my faith, but I will... Oh, damn it, where's the spray?
I gotta say, I really love the salesman and his wife. They're coupledom. Obviously, they're supposed to be sleazy people. Like, they have, like, the ashtray full of cigarettes in their martini glass, and they're, like, they screw people out of money. But they clearly love each other a lot, and, like, I like the relationship a lot. I think it's very sweet.
It's also kind of rare for us to continue seeing, like, one-off characters sharing a scene.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like a cutaway. I mean, in a way it was, but it was just like, we're progressing to this character. I almost feel like Harry Shearer just enjoyed doing that voice.
Mm-hmm. It's a good voice, too.
Yeah. That's the kind of couple you should be looking up to, Steve.
Yes.
And then, of course, Bart will only help if prank is involved.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of fun. Last week's episode dealt with Bart quitting pranks because he was caught on camera and Homer told him to, which is, I know we're not reviewing that episode, but now thinking about, like, why did Bart just say, okay, I'll quit doing pranks?
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Just because he was on video? All right. Okay. We're not doing that podcast, Steve. That was last week's episode. But, Steve, this is your favorite. Lisa and Bart teaming up, right?
It's fun. I do like it. That evening, Bart and Lisa put on their darkest sneaking clothes and return to Aquatraz Water Park. They're joined by groundskeeper Willie, who's wearing a black toque, or beanie for our non-Canadian listeners, a black turtleneck, and his camouflage, which is just his kilt turned inside out, so it's a simple yet stunning black skirt.
I like how, when you go prowling at the night, you always wear all black, all dark. Mm-hmm. I think you should do the opposite. Wear like very bright neon colors because no one's going to suspect you, right?
Yeah, like, it's like the hunter mentality. Like, they wear bright orange and the deers never shoot them, so it seems to work.
Like, here's a tip for stealing kids. Not stealing kids, but hey, kids, here's a tip. Just go and get a orange or yellow safety vest and a little hard hat and a clipboard.
Yeah.
And just like walk into your local Walmart. It's fine, it's Walmart. And just take a TV off the shelf.
Yeah.
And walk out. They're just going to think you're a maintenance man.
A very short maintenance man.
Well, okay, kids, if you do it, make sure one of you is on top of another kid's shoulders. And then, so you have to wear trench coats first, and then a safety vest, and then also a like bowler or a Stetson, like a fedora.
Right. People are scared of clipboards, I realize. Like,
yeah,
this is just a good tip in general. Like, if you have a clipboard, walk around with the clipboard and look angry. People will not ask anything of you, and they'll respect you.
Like, you're walking down the street, and you see the person with the clipboard. Oh, fuck. And I always say the same thing. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not a registered voter. Or, I'm not from this state. Because we live on the border of Washington and Oregon, so it's so much easier to say, if you're in Oregon, to say, I'm from Washington, so I can't vote.
I pulled that up plenty, yeah.
Yeah. I've done that up in Seattle, too. I'm sorry, I'm from Vancouver, Canada. Because that's what we are. See, we're doing this podcast from Vancouver, Canada.
Exactly, eh?
Yeah. All right, well, so Willie breaks the lock and heads into the park. So as Bart comments on how well Willie seems to know the location, Willie explains that he works there during the summer. He adds that unlike the children of Springfield Elementary, the sea life doesn't make fun of him. Just then, 3 dolphins laugh at Willie, causing him to say, "Just because you're cuter than me doesn't mean you're better than me." He then mocks the porpoises, saying that they aren't even fish.
I do like the fact that, it's Willie, and he's freeing a whale, and there was the movie Free Willy.
Which was shot here in the Pacific Northwest, Portland.
That's right, way down in Portland, far away from Vancouver.
Oh yeah, that's what I meant. And various places on the Oregon coast.
Of course, yes. Once inside, Willie examines a control panel clearly marked Orca tank controls, and using his power of deduction, the groundskeeper assumes that they are, in fact, the Orca tank controls, which impresses Bart. So Willie plans to open the seawater gate, causing the Orca to head straight into the ocean.
So Willie rips off his turtleneck and uses all of his might to turn the control wheel clockwise. When that proves unsuccessful, Lisa offers that it may be a lefty-loosey, and Willie shouts that everything in this country is backwards and wrong, and then turns the wheel to the left easily with a single finger.
So Lisa and Bart watch on the monitors as the gate opens, allowing the Orca to swim to freedom. Willie continues to turn the wheel, using his kilt to dab his sweat from his brow, and to probably show off his penis.
You mean he freed Willie?
Ooh, very good, yes.
I'll see myself out.
So the whale exits the tank, much like Craig just left, and immediately runs headfirst into a Carnival cruise ship. The passengers see the whale and are relieved to have a way off the ship. So the people on the boat lower themselves onto the sea animal using the ropes that they all seem to have, and as the whale jumps freely into the moonlight, Bart makes a discovery about himself.
We did it! We set a captive animal free! Pretty cool, huh, Bart?
Look how happy that thing is. At least this is a new feeling. We helped a whale be free, and now I feel wonderful.
What you're searching for is altruism. Ow. And that's called karma.
Are you happy, Willie?
I'll chew you. Air bagpipes.
I like air bagpipes.
Should we have an air bagpipes contest?
Yes, I think we should.
All right, let's do it off the air so our listeners don't have to listen.
That's probably for the best.
Steve, have you ever felt altruism?
Probably. I mean, like... Actually, I did. You know what? A little while back, I was grocery shopping, and the woman in front of me had left her wallet at home, and I bought her groceries. And that felt good.
Like, how much groceries?
Like $40 worth.
So, how long ago was this?
This is probably about a year ago, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, so 40... So she just got 2 things.
Exactly.
$40. That's just a half a dozen of eggs now in this country.
It's true.
Canada. sorry. 440 loonies, I mean.
Exactly, yeah. For
Where's
goose
the
eggs.
For goose eggs, yeah. And hockey pucks. You gotta buy your daily hockey pucks.
Yeah,
in Canada.
along with your maple syrup and your Tim Hortons.
And our free healthcare. We have to buy that every day.
Exactly. That's why it's free.
Well, that following day, Homer has blindfolded Marge and is leading her toward the boat on the dock. He tells her not to ask questions nor probe for answers, and Marge agrees to play along, acting as if she didn't know she was on a dock next to the water. And Homer takes off the blindfold to reveal that they are, in fact, on a dock by the water. And Marge is pleased to see the boat, which is called Something Fishy, assuming that Homer rented it for the day. Marge then asks if Homer brought beer and sandwiches, and Homer invites her to open up a nearby cooler, and Marge does, and out crawls rat face himself, Mo, who says, "Hi, Midge," and then reaches into a small boat next to theirs to grab a tray of sandwiches and a six-pack of Duff.
It's just like the fact that he was hiding in the cooler and they had all the food in the boat next door. That's funny.
Yeah. It's also like Marge is concerned for Homer, like, oh, did you make sure to bring the things that you like and not things that I like?
Right. The kids don't need beer. She doesn't really drink beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, Marge is pretty chill in this episode.
Obviously, writer Andy Cohen. Is it Andy Cohen?
Max Cohn.
Obviously, Max Cohen doesn't know Marge at all.
Yeah. Watch what happens live. As the day goes on, Homer invites Maggie to sit on his wap, that's baby talk for lap, or possibly his wet-ass pussy, and to take the wheel. Homer tells Maggie to push to maximum throttle, and then zooms and hydroplanes across the deep, catching air as it hits a ramp. The boat then splits Hans Moleman's boogie board in half, and as he sinks to his death, he remarks that he's 88 years old, and he never learned to swim. Later, the sun begins to set, and Marge couldn't be happier. This leads Homer to make a grand confession.
What a wonderful day, homie. It's like we're living in the painting over our couch.
Our marriage has never been better. Time to risk it all. Okay, guess whose boat this is?
I hope it's not Johnny Depp's. He's already in so much financial trouble.
Brace yourself, baby. It's ours.
You bought this boat?
No, we bought this boat. You just weren't aware.
You know what? It's okay.
Are you nuts?
You went out and got something the whole family could enjoy. Let's live a little.
Oh my God, Marge! What's happened to you?
I admit it. You've worn me down.
You're my little polished gem.
Aww.
I mean, it is kind of depressing that she's like, you've worn me down. So, and of all the silly shit Homer's done throughout the 31 years as of this episode, buying a boat isn't as crazy as some of the other shit he's done.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bad financial decision, but yeah, it's not the worst thing that he's done.
And Marge, is like, you know what? The whole family can enjoy this. Like when he bought the plow, he can only enjoy the plow truck, kids can. And she can only enjoy being plowed by Homer. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So, seeing how well Marge reacted to the boat, Homer decides to show it off to his dad. So as they pull into the dock, Homer asks Abe, what he thinks. Grandpa happily states that his son finally did it. He found a parking spot at the marina. So Homer explains that he bought a boat and pushes his father towards the yacht. And Abe is concerned that Homer will kill him and dump the body overboard. So he hands his son a wheel that reads, "Everyone gets some, but Homer."
So Homer assures Abe that he's not going to kill him, which leads Grandpa to call Homer a lazy bum. The father and son then share a hug, and Abe rips up his handwritten will. And while arriving back at the dock, Homer is met by the boat mechanic Raphael. Homer proudly shares that he is the owner of the Seacraft, and Raphael is impressed, but says that the boat is running a little rough. Homer suggests that we're all running a little rough, and Raphael laughs at Homer's joke, and then says that he'll need help very soon, as the boat is used and needs immediate repair. Homer wonders why he'll need to fix the boat so quickly, and Raphael points out that it's actually sinking behind him.
So over in the backyard of 742 Evergreen Terrace, Bart sits in his treehouse telling Milhouse about his newfound addiction to altruism. Though his best friend isn't sure how to respond to his new passion, Bart has a plan.
I'm not going to be happy till I set another animal free.
If I wanted to hang out with Lisa, I'd hang out with Lisa. No, you wouldn't.
Now, I can't free another fish because they've increased security at the water park.
This is great. I got a flashlight, walkie-talkie, big old ring of keys.
But I found something else we can set free.
Meet Lolo the gorilla. Powerful, intelligent. She can sign 5 words. Friend, enemy, kill, vodka, and Seinfeld.
You know she wants out. Now for security, I'll say the rest in Pig Latin. Ide uwe oge ute ide uze.
We're going on eBay?
Oh, yeah, rumba K.
Like the ape, I like to kill some vodka while watching Seinfeld.
Who doesn't? And the Pig Latin, by the way, is we will go to the zoo. So it's a good thing that Bart had that masterful code of Pig Latin.
Did you speak that language when you were a kid?
Oh, yeah. I'm pretty sure, like, my sister taught it to me.
I won't tell you what your sister taught me.
I don't want to know. But good on you, I guess.
It was just last week, Steve. All right. Look, we're getting letters from our fans that said we need more sister jokes on the podcast.
Oh, good, yes.
Yeah, I don't think I was a Pig Latin speaker, if that matters.
Ig Pay Latin lay?
I don't even know what you're saying.
Yeah, it's very confusing. Reg K. So, while at his workstation in Sector 7G of the Springfield nuclear power plant, Homer receives a phone call. It is Raphael, who has asked Homer if he's sitting down. And after giving some warning, the mechanic states that the boat is fixed. He then tells Homer the total cost, which causes Homer to hang up wordlessly. As he worries, a thought bubble, another one, appears over Homer's head. And inside that bubble, the boat salesman offers one solution. Homer could share the expenses, pulling his friends into the black hole of boat ownership with him. And Homer agrees to the plan and then informs the imaginary huckster that he should be disappearing right about now, and the salesman says that he will, but it'll cost Homer another $100. Loonies.
So after paying the thought bubble, Homer kicks his office chair into the adjoining room where Lenny and Carl are hard at work, attending to carbon rods and secure modules, so Homer lets out a dramatic sigh. And when Lenny and Carl inquire what's got him down, Homer says that he feels terrible for withholding an incredible opportunity. He apologizes and says that he has to go.
So Homer wheels his chair away and then returns, asking if someone said, wait. And Lenny and Carl didn't say anything, but Homer just wanted to make sure, since this opportunity is so incredible. He rolls away again, and then throughout the day passes by Lenny and Carl, trying to get their interest as they visit the water cooler and have lunch in the cafeteria.
Lenny and Carl enjoy an Isotopes game in the stadium, and Homer appears on the opportunity cam holding up a sign that says, eh? Later, he rolls by Lenny and Carl in their apartments as they are fast asleep in their bunk beds. I like that they live together. With a picture of Bert and Ernie hanging on the wall, so I think it's more of a... Is that the reference? But Bert and Ernie sleep in the same bed, don't they?
No, they don't. They have
I thought they did.
They have 2 beds in the bedroom.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. I think it would be a very different dynamic.
Well, I think it's because everyone makes that joke.
Yeah.
Of Bert and Ernie, that like sleep together.
Mm-hmm. Maybe they do,
in the same room.
Yeah.
Yeah. Muppets can't fuck Steve. So that evening, Homer's slumber is interrupted by a telephone call.
Hello.
Okay, I'll bite. What's the opportunity?
I don't know, Lenny. I mean, I need someone with genuine enthusiasm.
Understood. Have a good night.
Wait. Do you want to go in on a boat with me? We share expenses. We split the time. If you agree, continue breathing normally.
I don't know. I heard that sharing boats can ruin friendships.
Well, somebody better tell Carl, because he is in.
Wait, I don't want to be left out. I'm in.
Glad to hear it. Could you put Carl on?
I like Homer wearing the hat throughout the boat ownership portion of this episode.
Captain hats are pretty cool, Steve.
I gotta say, they are. I also just like how Lenny was not interested until, like, that evening, and he just was thinking about it. He's like, I wonder, what was Homer talking about? So after Lenny hands Carl the phone on the Ferris wheel, because they're at a nighttime amusement park, they both agree to share ownership of the boat. So they take to the sea, bringing along their dates, and Lenny brings Carl's sister Carlotta, and Carl brings Lenny's sister Lanny. And they also brought their old college stereo to show everyone in the water that they're big shots and are having a wild time. So they rock out to Bachman Turner Overdrive's Taking Care of Business until the speakers go overboard. And Carl is happy to see that the fish are able to enjoy some awesome BTO. And this is actually the second time that we've seen Lenny and Carlotta, as they were also in The Blue and the Gray, Season 22, Episode 13, our 95th episode.
So does that mean Carletto is also from Iceland?
I would assume so, yeah.
Lenny invites Carletta to take his throttle, so she revs the boat, struck by the power it wields. Carletta tells Lenny that she was under the impression that their relationship was casual, but now, with the boat, she wants to marry Lenny. So after some stammering, Lenny leaps into the water, shouting, "This is not a no!" He then reemerges using the old stereo speakers as water skis. Now, do you think Carletta and Laney live together like Carl and Lenny?
Maybe, yeah. And I wonder if people think that they're a couple too.
Do you think that they were created to maybe create synergy, and maybe fans were like, ooh, these two characters should be on their own spin-off?
Ooh, yeah.
Maybe they move them to Milwaukee and they work at a brewery.
They could have somebody in Squiggy show up and...
Well, yeah, someone from Spinal Tap,
right.
Harry Shearer.
Right,
not Michael McKean. That'd be two on the nose.
Exactly. And he couldn't name him Lenny either.
No. I could do the Iggy.
Ramil, some muzzle, Hasselpfeffer Incorporated. All right. In the dark of night, Bart and Milhouse sneak into the Springfield Zoo, ready to liberate Lolo the gorilla. Milhouse assesses the situation, pointing out that the great ape is unaware that there is an overgrown vine behind her where she can climb to freedom. So the plan is simple. One of the two boys will have to jump into the habitat and show her how to do it. The only question is which one of them will do it. So Bart claims that he's allergic to gorilla fur, and Milhouse is kind of disappointed, since gorilla fur is the one thing that he's not allergic to.
So once in the gorilla habitat, Milhouse thinks to himself that he really thought that Bart would jump in to be the hero. Standing in safety, Bart shouts that he'll do it next time, and Milhouse fully believes him. Just then, Lolo sees Milhouse and begins to chase him. Thinking fast, Milhouse climbs up the vine, and the gorilla follows close behind until it is out of the pen.
So the gorilla looks around, taking in her newfound freedom, and she lets out a roar and beats her chest, throwing a trash can, crushing a hot dog cart, flipping over a brochure stand, and bending open up the bars of a cage just so she can sit in captivity once again. She then bends the bars yet again to leave. And then she sees a sign that says, "We treat our animals humanely," and throws that sign to the ground, breaking it into several pieces.
The bit of the gorilla opening and closing the cage is great.
Yeah, really funny.
Seeing the destruction caused by Lola, Bart announces that they have a problem. Milhouse, being carried away by the mouth of a tiger, says that they have two problems. But as he sits next to the tiger and its mate, he's happy to be among a loving family, as he puts it. So the tigers communicate to one another in purrs and growls, saying that when Milhouse stops talking, they'll eat him.
I feel like Matt probably didn't like this episode because we had the whale calling Homer fat and these animals threatening to eat Milhouse. They're acting very human-like.
Well, there's just their inner thoughts.
Yeah, I guess so.
I think it's okay.
Okay. So, in an idyllic garden, Lisa frolics down the pathway, enjoying one flower after another. She then hears a buzzing and sees Bart as a bumblebee swarming around her head. And Lisa awakens from this dream due to the sound of her phone vibrating on her nightstand. It's Bart, who, after seeing that Lola is in the wild and leaving a path of destruction, declares that altruism sucks. Lisa points out a flaw in Bart's plan and then turns on the TV to see the damage.
You idiot! You set a fish free because it has an ocean to swim in. If you set a gorilla free, it goes into the city and it gets killed.
The great escape? A gorilla mysteriously freed from the Springfield Zoo is wreaking havoc all over town. The police, as always, are useless.
Not true, Kent. We've located the gorilla. He's on top of a store next to a sign reading, "You'll go ape for our bargains."
Yeah, I think that's a balloon, Chief.
Prove it. Happy, Lou? You just shot a balloon.
So cops are upset when they shoot a balloon, but when they shoot a person, they're fine.
Yes, and I think Kent Brockman said something very powerful, as, once again, as always, the cops are useless.
So on the docks, Lenny remarks that how much he loves boat ownership. Spending every weekend makes him feel like Larry Ellison. Of course, Larry Ellison was the fourth richest asshole in the world, worth $194 billion. He founded a software company called Oracle, which owns 1.5 of Steve's favorite company, Tesla, as well as 90% of the Hawaiian island of Lanai.
No, my wife is not from there.
No. I was going to say I own the other 2%.
Oh, okay.
And the majority of the Paramount company. Now, is this still factual or is this old information?
As of this recording, assuming that Google is correct, it is still correct that he's the 4th richest person in the world.
Carl, meanwhile, mounted an espresso maker on gimbals, ensuring that the cappuccino foam art won't be ruined when the big waves hit. So indeed, a big wave does hit, but the foam depiction of Lenny is undisturbed, causing the original Lenny to call the steamed milk his hero. Now, Steve, can I have a question for you?
Sure.
It may be too personal, so you don't have to answer it, and we can cut it from the episode.
All right.
But as you have worked in the field of caffeinated beverages, was the foam art something that you have done or do?
Okay, so I'm glad you asked. I have strong opinions about this. I have not been behind an espresso machine in about a year, so my latte art skills are a little bit rusty, but I was okay. I was never great. But my hot take is that latte art is a little dumb. If you can decorate a cake well, that doesn't mean that you're a good baker. It just means that you're a good decorator. And that's kind of how I feel about latte art. It doesn't, necessarily affect the quality of the beverage so much as it's just a fun little parlor trick. And, if you're good at latte art, more power to you. But, if it's going to impede on my time of getting my beverage just so you can make a swan or whatever, I don't really want it.
How come bartenders don't do that with the foam on, beer?
I know that in Ireland they make the Guinness with the clover, but that's the only thing that I've ever seen. But yeah, there should be more beer latte art, or beer art.
It's probably because the drunks at the bar don't have the patience to wait.
Yeah, and maybe bartenders are doing it every day, and that's people are too drunk to notice.
Yeah. My bartenders usually dip their balls in the beer because they hate us.
Yeah. Which is an art in and of itself. So just then, Barney, Lindsay Naegle, Hans Moleman, who's not dead, Sideshow Mel, Dewey Largo, Bumblebee Man, Disco Stew, Otto, and several others arrive on the scene. Homer tells Lenny and Carl that he may have split the shares of the boat even further, meaning that they're all co-owners. Captain McAllister says, "Co-owner I be, says me." Duffman has the boat to impress his new wife's kids, but when he checks in on his stepson, Kyle just yells, saying that his father died drinking Duffman's product. He and Duffman have plenty to work on. Oh yeah. And even Cat Lady is a partial owner, or as Homer now refers to her, as Catamaran Lady.
That was the wah joke.
Mm-hmm.
But I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's fun. I like, I don't like Duffman, but I like Duffman struggling with his relationship with Kyle. I think that's powerful.
Is that a Freudian thing with you, Steve? A guy named Kyle and your friendship with him?
Maybe it is.
Okay. Now everyone's got the captain's hat, Steve. This is fun.
Yeah.
Although I do remember, here's a story for mine, but I remember a buddy of mine got a boat a few years ago. Not like a yacht boat, but just like a little fishing boat. And I had bought I wasn't the captain of it, but I bought one of those novelty hats that says captain on it, but not like that. It's just a ball cap that has the word captain on it.
Uh-huh.
And I'm wearing it on the boat. Very much like a Homer. But that's stolen valor because I wasn't the captain.
Maybe you could do that Tom Hanks movie and be like, I'm the captain now.
I was the poop boy.
Okay.
Is that a position?
Well,
that's the poop deck. Never mind.
Yeah. I mean, you could be the poop boy, but I think it's a far different request.
I was the piss boy. That's what I was.
Yes.
So with all the shared owners crowded on the boat, Homer casts off. After going a few feet in the water, the boat begins to sink. So as the passengers bob to the surface, Lenny is saddened to see his cappuccino foam float away. Chief Wiggum tries to swim to shore, but gives up when it proves to be too hard. He then sinks to his nose until he realizes that he can just, stand in the water. That also proves to be too hard for him. So once again, he just allows himself to sink. And back on land, Bart and Lisa run to Springfield Elementary, where Lola has wreaked havoc, trapping Chalmers and Skinner in the principal's office.
Perhaps music will calm her down. 1877 cars for kids. Oh, my screenplay.
Lolo! Friend! Oh no, I accidentally signed Fiend. Look, I'll help you find safety. I just have to convince you I'm your friend. How? Seinfeld. Newman. If this was just a little bit looser, it would be the best thing in the world.
Why does Lisa hate Newman?
She hates the post office.
Oh,
and
jeez.
Wayne Knight was her least favorite part of Jurassic Park.
He was the best. Dennis Nedry?
Yeah, he had that Barbasol can. Went to the toilet.
Toilet?
Yeah, didn't he die on the toilet?
No, that was the lawyer.
Oh, that's right. I haven't seen Jurassic Park in a little bit.
The Spitty dinosaur.
Oh, yeah, that's right, that's right.
He went back into the car, then the Spitty dinosaur had his way with Dennis Nedry.
Oh, only he was a swallowy dinosaur. In that clip, we had Skinner talking about his screenplay that was on his monitor, and it was entitled There Will Be Permission Slips, and it was a Chalmskin production. Again, keeping up with that Chalmskin production company that they reference quite often now.
Or at least the episodes that we've been watching.
Yes. Also, Lisa talked about how she was trying to sign for friend and accidentally said fiend. And so I looked it up, and they're very different motions, although I couldn't find fiend, but the closest thing that I could find is demon or devil, which you actually kind of make horns with your hands next to your forehead, whereas friend, you lock in your 2 pointer fingers, show like friendship. So I don't know how Lisa would have screwed that up.
Yeah, pretty fucking dumb, Lisa. You know how I knew friend without you looking it up, Steve? Mr. fucking Fred Rogers.
Ooh, nice.
Pluto TV. There's a Mr. Rogers channel, so sometimes
That's
we'll
awesome.
have it on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not when the kids are around. I don't want this kid learning stuff. It's just for me.
Of course.
No, but we've just been like, TV on in the background, and it's like just Mr. Rogers. So we've been just going through this like Mr. Rogers kick, even to the point where like I want to get like a red cardigan zip up.
Oh, yeah.
Like if you go to eBay and type in Mr. Rogers sweaters, there's like legit like authorized sweaters that have like embroidered Mr. Rogers logo on it.
Nice.
I know. But he's fucking awesome. I enjoy Fred Rogers, You grew up with him as a kid, and it's good time, Steve.
Yeah, very calming, very pleasant.
And I don't want to get horny on this podcast, Steve, but there's been some horny things in this episode, and I gotta say, we even went back and watched like the first couple episodes, like from the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking Lady Aberlin. She was a smoke show. I'm like, if I was Fred Rogers, I'm like, Jesus Christ. I got her, and I got Queen Sarah. I don't know what to do.
I really feel like that might have been one of my first crushes, honestly.
Mr. Rogers?
Yeah. No. Lady A.
Lady A, yeah.
Like, even just, like, watching, like, 70s reruns when I was a kid in the 80s, like, I'd be like, I think I got a type.
And it's funny that Lady A, like, if she just, like, has appeared in, like, every Kevin Smith movie since Dogma, like, just as a role.
Yeah.
If you look on her.
I was actually just seeing
IMDb.
that. I was like,
yeah,
really interesting.
Because I remember when she was in Dogma, like, she was a nun in Dogma that Matt Damon convinces to leave the church. I just think it was hilarious because, Fred Rogers was a man of God, and here she is playing a nun, leaving the church. Do you think because he died in like 2003, 2, or something like that.
Yeah.
And Dogma came out in like 99. Do you think he watched Dogma? He's like, oh, my friend Lady Aberlin is in the movie. I'm going to go watch it.
It's like shocked by it. When the shit monster came in, and he's like, oh, no.
Just pounds off right there.
Won't you be my neighbor?
All right. Steve, we'll start a Mr. Rogers podcast exclusively on our Patreon in a few months, years, days. But I like to know how to do the devil or the fiend sign language. So when I see someone that's signing, I'm going to do that to them.
Nice, yeah.
So as the boat, something fishy, sinks into the deep, Homer informs that the salesman he'd like to return the boat for a refund. So the salesman responds that James Cameron may have an interest in the sunken sea craft, but his responsibility ended at ka-ching.
Homer's upset that he was sold a lemon, but the salesman points out that people like lemons, as they're good for your voice. And while Homer learns the other side businesses that the salesman does, Lisa dresses Lolo as her father, disguising the ape while trying to find her a new home.
With your smooth talk, you could convince anyone of anything!
You like my lapels? You want to buy the jacket?
Yes.
$50. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm also in another business, smuggling meth inside bicycle tires.
Thanks for the free bike.
Just get it to Mexico by tomorrow.
Lisa, what are you doing?
I'm in my bedroom with Dad.
Oh, that's sweet.
Watch it.
Oh, homie, I told you to stop doing that.
Y'all bring your gorilla here. We'll teach him to ride and shoot, and soon it'll be a Planet of the Apes. Whoops.
No.
Here at UTA, United Talented Apes, we'll shave your gorilla and make him a body double for Bruce Willis. And if he behaves even a little, he could become Bruce Willis.
Next. Oh my God, you're perfect. Will you take my ape?
R.I.P. Bruce Willis.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know when this episode comes out. You never know.
But, I mean, at this point, the ape could replace him because the ape's no sign language, so I'm going to see it that way.
Hey.
Sorry.
Yeah.
No, that's not good.
You know, this time we were learning he was difficult on sets, but it's not because of he was difficult, just because of his disease, illness, right?
Yeah. But UTA fam, representing.
Not a UTI fan, though, right?
No. Drink your cranberry juice, kids. Lisa takes Lolo to the Pennsylvania Ape Reserve, where primate expert Jane Goodall can take care of her. Dame Dr. Goodall tells Lisa that Lolo was the name that the ape had when she was in captivity, but should have a more new, respectable name, like Popo. So Lisa shares her appreciation to the noted ape expert, but Goodall is not quite impressed.
And may I just tell you, you've always been my hero.
Thank you, but I wonder, how many female scientists have you told they're your hero?
In your field? Only 3.
Oh well, good enough. We'll take fine care of Popo. See you soon.
Wait, come back! Take me with you! I want a life exactly like yours!
Well, so do hundreds of others. But still, you might get lucky if you work really hard and get a doctorate.
Would you give me a scholarship?
No, you'd have to save up, like I did.
Then there's a slight chance you'll have me?
Well, very slight. But don't give up.
That is the most encouraging thing I have ever heard.
Lise, thanks for undoing the damage of my good deed.
I'm glad you've come to understand the importance of altruism.
Altruism rocks!
Was that actual Dr. Jane Goodall, or was that, I don't know, let's say Mo?
That was, in fact, Dr. Jane Goodall, but as people in the Reddit got confused, that's the first appearance of Dr. Jane Goodall on the show. However, she was referenced way back in Season 1, Episode 2, Bart the Genius, in which Bart offers to observe the other students who he implies are stupider than him, like Jane Goodall would study the primates. And also, Jane Goodall was parodied in Simpsons Safari, our 43rd episode, as Dr. Joan Bushwell, who was smuggling diamonds in the soles of her shoes.
Like that Paul Simon song.
Exactly. You can call me Al.
Yeah, that Simpsons Safari, that's a Schwarzwelder joint, right?
Yes. Arguably the most problematic and worst one.
Yeah, we don't actually like that episode. As much as we love Schwarzwelder, that one is a stinker. Much like Paul Simon after using the bathroom.
Ooh.
Always blames Garfunkel. So Bart goes on to describe the ways in which altruism does, in fact, rock. Like when you let go of something and it smashes everything. So in the future, he wants to altruism a rhino, then a robot with the sledgehammers for hands. So as Bart says that he wishes to sit back and watch the whole world altruism. Marge notices some bad habits that the gorillas learn from Homer. She sees one sit on the couch drinking a duff and scratching his ass, while others chokes a teddy bear, most likely growling, "What are you, little?" That's my voice, Steve, as a gorilla.
Very good.
But it's in its native tongue, of course. So it seems that learning goes both ways, as Homer has a newfound skill of picking up bananas with his feet. And when he drops it, is able to make the American Sign Language for annoyed grunt.
Later, at Moe's, all of the angry co-owners of the boat have gathered to give Homer a piece of their collective minds. Seeing their anger, Homer tries to calm them all down by pointing out that because there are so many of them, they each just lost a little bit. He adds that they will now know, for the rest of their lives, that they're as good as someone who owns a boat because they did own a boat for about 5 minutes.
Yeah, boat owners are better people. We all know this.
That's right.
So Carl's happy to have the happy memories of the boat, and Lenny is pleased that someone in Japan sent him his foam art back in a bottle. So the crowd gives 3 cheers to Homer. Hip, hip, hooray, hip, hip, hooray, hip, hip, hooray. Steve, have you ever given 3 cheers like that to anyone?
I don't think I have. Have you?
No.
Well, here we go. For Craig, hip,
Steve,
hip,
we're almost done.
hooray.
Let me just finish this, okay?
Okay, fine.
I don't want one. So an announcer chimes in saying that foam Lady on Fox were Fridays at 8 because they've got nothing else. And, of course, neither do we, Steve, because that's how the episode ends.
I like it. I'll say hip, hip, hooray to you, and hip, hip, hooray to our listeners for sticking around, because we'll be right back. Alrighty, we're back. Let's finish up our discussion of Gorillas in the Mast. We'll talk about what made us laugh in this episode, a most viable jokester, if you will, what we thought about the episode, and what we're watching next week. But before we do all of that, we like to exchange gifts, to share some things from the show that we think our co-host might enjoy.
Did you say we like to exchange gifts with the talented musician Cher?
That's right, and that's why, Craig, I got you, I could have got you any boat, but I got you an aircraft carrier in which Cher can, straddle a bazooka, and you can have a weird 9-year-old boner.
Sounds a little, personal, Steve.
But
hey, we were all there.
Yeah, and if I could turn back time, I'd do it again.
Is her outfit also a gift?
It is.
Nice.
But, because you'll be out in the sun in that outfit, you're going to need some sunblock, so I got you a tube of SPF 1000 also. And if you don't want the tunes of Cher rocking out, I got you an old stereo that has a cassette of Bachman-Turner Overdrive's greatest hits. So enjoy that.
I'll be taking care of business with my Cher outfits.
Yes.
Much appreciated, Steve. And, something nautical for you as well. You were talking about the captain's hat. And so I got you one, but I feel like you're better than the captain, so I'm promoting you, Steve.
Ooh.
You're going to get a Rear Admiral's hat.
Oh, boy.
A Rear Admiral's hat. That's just a New York Mets hat, am I right?
I appreciate that, because nobody can handle seamen like a Rear Admiral.
Also, here's some fire ants, just because.
Thanks, you shouldn't have.
And for those long voyages with your Rear Admiral cap, I know you don't drink anymore, but I thought you should just have a nice bottle of Scottish feel-good juice.
Oh, yes, just like my daddy gave to me.
It'll raise your kilt, Steve.
Hi. Thank you, Craig. That's very kind of you. What in this episode made you laugh?
Well, that flashback, for instance, with Abe and Little Homer. I just love when Dan does Little Homer voice.
Mm-hmm.
So when they're fishing on the pier, I think it's a lot of fun. Homer's weird sushi thought bubble, was weird, but I appreciated the weirdness of it.
Mm-hmm.
And he even comments how weird it is. And like you said in the beginning, too, the boat salesman and his wife, that whole scene is not necessary, but it's kind of fun because it's something you really don't see on The Simpsons much of continuing these characters we'll never see again, even in a whole almost minute scene.
Yeah.
The whole time they're like, where's Bart? Where's the boy? Where's Homer? It should be in every scene, Steve.
That's right.
Homer's persistence of trying to get Lenny on board with buying the boat. And, of course, the scenes with Lenny and Carl are always great. So, you know what? I'll give Lenny and Carl my MVJs. They get it together. And it's nice to have, an actual Jane Goodall appearance,
Yeah.
Yeah, how about you?
The boat salesman is going to be my MVJ. I'm just going to put it out there. He's a skeezy salesman, as skeezy as they come, but he cares about the game. And he and his partner, I like that they take passion in what they do. And that makes me laugh a lot. I just think it's funny that they appreciate how they cheated other people out of money so well. But I did like Lenny and Carl. I also really liked Willie, him helping Bart and Lisa to free the whale, to free the wheelie. But also when they get to the Orca tank controls, and he's like, I think that this is the Orca tank controls. And Bart's like, wow, that's impressive. Also, I just like Bart in this episode, not really understanding what altruism actually is, but wanting more of it. So yeah, I think Boat Salesman is my MVJ, but honorable mentions from, like you say, Lenny and Carl were great. Willie was great, as was Bart and Lisa. But what were your overall thoughts of this episode?
So it's an episode that I'm not like super in love with, and I don't hate. Like it's one of those like, that's fun. If that's a review.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I got to go on an adventure with the Simpsons, and what I appreciate about it too is like I forget Marge, also great in this episode because the whole like episode could have been about Homer or Marge being mad that Homer bought a boat.
Yeah,
and she wasn't. She was chill, and that's like a nice change of pace. Because Marge just always having her character be mad because of something Homer does, and she enjoyed it. So that's nice. You know, it had all the things that you want. You know, it had Bart and Lisa teaming up. You had Bart and Milhouse doing something. You got Lenny and Carl. You had a Moe.
Oh, that Moe joke is really funny, too.
You had Lenny and Carl's sisters. You got to make fun of the cops. Kent Brockman made an appearance. Like, this was a star-studded appearance. Like, Flanders had something, had a scene. Willie, like you said earlier. You got a little bit. Mr. Burns had a fun little joke. Like, I think good old Mark Cohn, no, that's the guy who wrote Walking in Memphis, Max Cohn, just like got everything in there. You know, I'm changing my mind. Like, it was not a mid-tier. This was, you know, now thinking about it, like, you got a Hans Moleman joke, like everything, a grandpa's, like, I'm just scrolling through, like, looking at the episode, like, oh yeah, I forget, like, all these things that we like about Simpsons jokes and episodes was all there, including the gratuitous celebrity cameo from Jane Goodall.
Mm-hmm.
Which, like, you didn't need it, but it was there, and I'm surprised she would have lent her voice to The Simpsons. And I'm just now looking at how cute is it when the Lolo, the gorilla, is just dressed like Homer.
Yeah.
All right, you know, I changed my mind. I like this a bit more than, as I said, it was middling. So I had fun with this episode. You know, if it's on, I'm going to watch it. I'm not going to, you know, like, seek it out, but as just, like, all things that happen with The Simpsons, like, you're right, that orchid tank scene with Willie and Bart was really good. Man, it's a lot of fun, you know? Nothing big happens. It's just pure, straight up, dumb, fun humor. And let's not forget the catamaran dad joke.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so if I gave this a ranking, Steve, Lolo, of course, is based off of Coco the Gorilla, which, of course, Mr. Rogers met before, you know?
That's very true.
They had a torrid love affair. But Coco was the age... you died.
Oh.
Yeah, so age 46.
Woohoo! 3 more years.
I'm jealous of that, Steve.
I can make it happen.
It's not you physically that you die from. It's just how this country is going. You're going to eat like a bad piece of corn because a white American farmed it. Anyway, it's not a political podcast. But, so yeah, 46 years is when she died at 46. So out of 46, I'm going to give this the age I died.
Ooh.
And that was 37.
Nice.
Yeah, Steve, I forgot to tell you, I'm a ghost. Your turn.
Okay. This episode, while stuff happens, feels a little thin, but it's a lot of fun. This feels a little bit like an appetizer of an episode. Like, it's not, like, big or meaty, but I enjoyed myself. It's a fun episode. It's a fun little side of an episode. I like what Homer's doing. I like that Marge just kind of goes along with it. I think that the characters are used very well, and the dynamic between, like, Bart and Lisa, everyone's motivations are very clear, very straightforward. It's a very simple plot. It checks a lot of boxes. It is not the most amazing episode, but there are plenty of solid jokes in there, and it was a fun time at the TV. I've got no complaints, and I think that Max Cohn did a good job of encapsulating The Simpsons with his own flavor. I never saw the KFC Lifetime movie, but nor did I see the movie with Richard Kind, but I think that, you know, this probably imparts his own take on The Simpsons, and I think it does well because it still feels earnest and within the world of The Simpsons, and it's good, and I like it. And so, for that, you know, Aquatraz is based, of course, off of the SeaWorld chain of amusement parks, which I don't think really exist as much anymore. But of those, 44 orcas have died in SeaWorld parks, which is about 43 too many for any park to stay open. So, out of 44, I'm going to give this, we'll say, a 39.
All right, yeah, you're right. I mean, I guess we're both right, because we both kind of feel the same way.
Yeah.
So, yeah, a lot of fun with that episode. When you said Aquatraz, like, based off of... I thought you were saying based off of the theme park of Alcatraz. Like, now I'm just thinking, like, why don't they turn Alcatraz into a fun theme park? Like, it should be Jurassic Park, but instead of cloned dinosaurs, it should be cloned serial killers and stuff like that. And so, like, you know, they're just behind bars. You can see, like, a clone of Charles Manson.
Mm-hmm.
Although, technically, he didn't actually perform the kills.
That's right.
Sorry to all my Charles Manson stands out there.
Do you think that because it's like clones like Jurassic Park, they'll all be female?
They'll be using frog DNA
Mm-hmm.
so they can be able to, like, reproduce on their own.
Yeah. David Attenborough will be, welcome to Prison Park.
John Wayne Gacy will be known as the swallowing dinosaur finally, because he's the spitty one.
Yes.
John Wayne Gacy, didn't he eat all his kids?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, Steve, I'm going to call up Johnny Hollywood. I got an idea for a movie.
I like it. Well, in the meantime, we hope that you liked what you heard today, and we hope that you'll listen to us next week when we review yet another episode, and we're still not back to new episode land just yet. So, to find out what we're going to watch, we need to visit our old friend, the Wheel of Random. Alrighty, let's give it a spin to see which season we're in. Alrighty, we have season 24.
Cool.
Let's give it another spin to see which episode we're watching. Alrighty, episode 9. We have season 24, episode 9. Now, Craig, what do you think the title of this episode is?
Okay, well, this one is, of course, a parody of Gorillas in the Mist. So when I think of other gorilla movies, I think, of course, of that great Ernie Hudson movie, Steve. No. Not Ghostbusters 2, but Congo. So I think this is going to be called Kong Annoyed Grunt.
Ooh, I like that.
Condo.
I mean, it sounds like you're buying a house, but I like it all the same.
True.
Sadly, no, though. The episode is entitled Homer Goes to Prep School. Now, if you can guess the plot exactly,
all right,
we don't have to do this anymore. What do you think this plot is?
I think it goes like this. After a trip to Aquatraz Water Park, Lisa becomes determined to set free Springfield's most vicious animals in captivity, and Homer fulfills his lifelong dream of buying a boat and quickly realizes boat ownership sucks.
I mean, you're very close. You're only off by one.
By one episode?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Well, it's obvious, Steve. Bart gets his wiener chopped off in a Zamboni accident. And Homer, in the B story, dyes his hair.
Oh. Well, Craig, I think you're close, but actually what happens is Homer joins a survivalist camp whose leader has set up a retreat to prepare for the end of the world. However, Marge is skeptical of the group's shenanigans. And in the B plot, Bart loses his penis in a Zamboni accident.
I wish. I mean, you wish.
Yeah. Bart doesn't wish, though. I remember.
Steve, I would like to wait and watch this unless some Tom is a guest star.
Well, I've got good news for you, because playing the character of Lloyd, we've got Tom Waits.
And as I always say, Steve, Tom waits for no one.
That's right. And, of course, we also have Maurice LaMarche playing Tom Skerritt. They got Tom Waits, but they couldn't get Tom Skerritt.
R.I.P. Tom Skerritt.
Yeah.
I don't remember this one, do you?
I have a very vague memory of watching it one time and then nothing else. I just know that Homer joined a survivalist camp, and at the time, the idea of a survivalist camp seemed silly. Now, not so much. All right. Thank you so much for listening. As always, we appreciate you. And hey, if you want to contact us, we'd love to hear from you. You can get to us on the socials, like your Instagram, your Threads, or your YouTube at 138Simpsons, but the easiest way, and the most reliable, is to contact us via email at 138simpsons@gmail.com.
And don't forget to leave us a 5-star review, or whatever the equivalent of the highest review, on Apple Podcasts or whatever app you listen to this show on. But you don't have to write a real review. No, just tell us how many altruism things you've done.
Yes, how many altruism things have you done?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And hey, be altruistic to yourself and go to tpublic.com/user/AnnoyedGruntBoy and grab yourself some great Annoyed Grunt Boy gear, like the awesome Born in the USA short that we debuted last week. And you can get it in a shirt of multiple colors. You can also get it as a button, a flag, a phone case, or a laptop case. You have a myriad options, so get on it, and yeah, it'll be awesome.
You can also get it in hat form, specifically red hats.
Ooh,
so,
yes.
Let's bring red hats back, Steve.
Yes, make red hats again.
Safe again.
Yes. All right, for this week, I've been Annoyed Grunt Boy Steve.
And I've been Annoyed Grunt Boy Craig.
And remember, if I wanted to hang out with Lisa, I'd hang out with Lisa.
No, you wouldn't.
The police, as always, are useless.